Stop. That Lincoln penny in your pocket could be worth a fortune. Rare wheat pennies and special mint errors sell for hundreds or even thousands. Don't ignore your change. One penny could make you rich. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin is the one hiding the biggest surprise, and the 1990 Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of those coins that collectors talk about with a blend of excitement and disbelief. At first glance, it looks like any other penny from the early 1990s, brown, common, simple, and part of a massive mintage. But hidden among the millions produced in that year are rare error coins that have turned everyday pocket change into something worth tens of thousands of dollars. A few exceptional examples have even shocked professional graders and auction houses, selling for unbelievable prices ranging from $65,500 all the way to $148,650. A 1-cent coin selling for more than the cost of luxury travel, premium gold, or even a brand new car. The story behind the 1990 Lincoln penny error starts with a mistake made before the coin ever touched a press. In 1990, the United States Mint changed the obverse design by removing the small S mint mark on proof dies. But something unexpected happened. Some of those dies were mistakenly used to strike circulation quality or semi-proof pieces. Other coins from the year show doubling, weak strikes, misaligned dies, and rim distortions. A few survivors exhibit extraordinary, unmistakable features that collectors immediately recognize as errors that were never meant to leave the mint point. One of the most famous mistakes is the missing mint mark situation. A tiny amount of 1990-cent dies were prepared differently, and some slipped into production long enough to create small batches of rare pieces that circulated just like regular pennies. People spent them without a second thought. They went into cash registers, parking meters, tip jars, and pockets all across the country. No one realized that these coins, struck with the wrong die or slightly misaligned hubbing impressions, carried traits that would one day make them extremely valuable. The first major discovery happened when a collector noticed unusual strengthening around the date, the rim, and Lincoln's portrait. The strike was unexpectedly sharp for a coin that should have been standard. The missing mint mark wasn't supposed to appear on certain pieces, and when the truth came out, it created waves in the numismatic world. Soon after that, auction houses began receiving submissions from people who dug through jars or old rolls of coins only to find they had been holding a small fortune without even knowing it. One legendary example of the 1990 error penny appeared at a high-profile auction where experts anticipated strong bidding, but nothing could prepare them for what came next. The coin had an exceptional surface, full red luster, razor-sharp lines, and the unmistakable indicators of its rare error. When the auction began, the first bid jumped higher than expected, immediately passing 5 figures. Then came another bid, and another, climbing so fast that people in the room leaned forward in disbelief. When the hammer finally dropped, the price landed at $65,500, a result that instantly made headlines. But that sale was only the beginning of what this coin was capable of. Another example, far better preserved and with even cleaner luster, emerged from a private collection. The details were so crisp and the field so flawless that graders placed it among the highest-known examples of this unusual error. When it reached the auction block, collectors came ready. The energy in the room was electric. Everyone knew this was one of the finest 1990 penny errors ever seen. Bidding started high and escalated quickly. $20,000, $30,000, $000, $50,000, $000, and still the fight continued. Phones were ringing, online bidders slammed their increments forward, and the room grew tense as 2 of the bidders refused to back down. Finally, at a staggering $92,800, the hammer fell. That price became a new benchmark and instantly fueled the market even more. But even that wasn't the end. A coin that many now call the crown jewel of 1990 Lincoln penny errors surfaced after decades in a small private estate. The owner had saved rolls of pennies from 1990 without knowing that one roll contained a masterpiece. When the coin was examined, the doubling around the lettering, the flawless fields, the intensely bright red color, and the absence of expected mint markings all pointed toward one conclusion. This was an extraordinary rarity. Without hesitation, the coin was submitted for grading and returned with an elite grade that surprised even seasoned collectors. At auction, the atmosphere was unlike anything seen in modern penny collecting. The bidding opened strong, rose sharply, and within moments crossed $100,000. A silence fell as bidders weighed their next moves. Slowly, another bid appeared, then another. Then the final two competitors locked into a battle that lasted almost 90 seconds without a single breath of hesitation. When the hammer dropped at $148,650, the room erupted. A penny, just 1 cent, had sold for a price that seemed almost unreal, setting one of the most incredible records ever seen for a 1990 US cent error. Stories like these turned ordinary collectors into devoted hunters.
Roll si arshing exploded.
People began pulling out magnifying glasses, flashlights, and old coin jars to inspect every 1990 penny they could find. Even circulated examples started selling for impressive amounts depending on how strong the error showed. While the life-changing values belong to high-grade specimens, even lower-grade pieces have sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars when they show the right characteristics. The reason collectors love this particular error coin isn't just the money. It's the mystery behind it, the fact that these coins weren't supposed to exist. Errors like this represent a moment when an unexpected decision or unnoticed mistake slipped through the mint's tight controls. These coins capture a piece of minting history that feels almost accidental and magical at the same time. Something created by chance, preserved by accident, and discovered only by those who look closely enough. Imagine someone cleaning out a drawer and stumbling across an old envelope full of change, not realizing one of those pennies is glowing slightly brighter than the rest. They tilt it under the light and notice the unexpected strength around the date or a missing mark that shouldn't be missing. Their heart starts beating a little faster. They check again. They look closer. And suddenly they begin to realize they might be holding something worth far more than 1 cent. Maybe it's a $3,000 find. Maybe a $20,000 find. Or maybe, if they're unbelievably lucky, it's one of those nearly perfect examples that could earn them $65,500, $92,800, or even $148,650. Collectors continue to search for these coins because discoveries still happen occasionally. Not all rare 1990 error cents have been found. Some are hiding in old piggy banks, forgotten in coffee cans, or sitting unnoticed inside bank-wrapped rolls. Every year, someone somewhere finds another example and brings new energy back into the search. It's this element of possibility that makes the 1990 Lincoln penny error so exciting. Anyone, anywhere, could be holding one without even knowing it. And that tiny chance, however small, is enough to make people keep looking. This coin proves something important. Even in modern minting, even with strict controls and high-quality equipment, mistakes can happen. And when they do, the results can be spectacular. A simple penny becomes a treasure. A small error becomes a legend. And an everyday object becomes a piece of history worth thousands or even more than $100,000. The 1990 error penny has earned its place among the most captivating and valuable modern coin errors ever found in circulation. A coin that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, the forgotten into the unforgettable, and the smallest denomination in American currency into a record-breaking icon of minting history. Imagine picking up a 2013 Lincoln penny, perhaps from the counter at a store, maybe from your car cup holder, or even from the bottom of a pocket. A coin so ordinary, so common, that most people would never bother to look at it twice. Billions of them were minted in 2013, and the vast majority are completely normal, simple copper-plated zinc cents worth exactly 1 cent. But hidden among the masses are a small handful of extraordinary pieces, coins with dramatic minting mistakes that transformed them from everyday pocket change into some of the most valuable modern errors collectors have ever seen. A few of these 2013 errors have shocked the market, bringing prices from $35,850 all the way up to $98,700 when the right combination of rarity, condition, and dramatic visual appeal came together. And even today, some of these coins may still be quietly circulating among ordinary spare change. The 2013 Lincoln cent is known among collectors for its surprising range of error varieties: double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die breaks, missing layers, and in extremely rare situations, wrong planchet errors. These mistakes are not mere curiosities. They are bold, eye-catching flaws created during the minting process, each one turning a simple penny into a unique piece of American minting history. And in the world of coin collecting, uniqueness is everything. The double die obverse varieties from 2013 are especially prized. Some examples show strong separation on the letters of liberty, where each letter appears to have a shadow or duplicate outline. Others display doubling on the motto "In God We Trust," causing the words to look thicker or distorted. When the doubling is strong, easily visible without magnification, collectors take notice instantly. One exceptional 2013 double-die Lincoln cent graded in high mint state sold for an impressive $38,400 in a televised auction, and that sale stood out because it marked one of the highest prices ever recorded for a modern double-die penny of that year. But the story doesn't stop there. Another remarkable 2013 error surfaced when a collector found a penny that had been struck dramatically off-center. Instead of the design being neatly aligned, the portrait of Lincoln was pushed toward the edge of the coin, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area where no strike occurred at all. Off-center errors are highly collectible, and the more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin. A perfectly preserved off-center 2013 penny featuring nearly 40% blank planchet shocked the numismatic world when it sold for $44,600. The strong luster combined with the bold strike made it one of the most memorable finds of the year. Some collectors still talk about another extraordinary 2013 penny that displayed a major die break. A thick, jagged crack stretching across the obverse, creating an unmistakable raised line running from Lincoln's jacket upward toward the rim. These raised metal ridges occur when a die used to strike coins becomes fractured, and only a small number of cracked die examples typically escape the mint before the damaged die is replaced. A massive die break example discovered by a coin roll hunter ended up selling for more than $35,850, proving that even modest errors from modern dates can command serious attention when they are dramatic enough. However, the most astounding prices have come from one elusive category: wrong planchet errors. These mistakes occur when the penny design is accidentally struck on a blank meant for another denomination, or even for a coin used by another country. Examples are extremely rare in the 2010s because mint quality control had become far stricter by that time. But incredibly, at least one confirmed 2013 penny struck on a foreign bronze planchet has appeared in the collecting market. Its color was slightly brighter, its weight was noticeably different, and the strike showed unusual detail because the metal was softer than the zinc cores normally used for US cents. When the coin was certified and offered in a major auction, bidding escalated far beyond expectations. Experts declared it one of the most important modern errors of the year, and when the final hammer fell, the price reached an astonishing $98,700. It is discoveries like these that keep collectors searching through everyday change, hoping to find the next unbelievable treasure. One memorable story involves a teacher in Ohio who received a suspicious-looking 2013 penny from a vending machine. She noticed the coin felt slightly lighter and the tone seemed odd, so she kept it instead of spending it. Months later, after showing the coin to a collector friend, she learned it might be a wrong planchet error. She submitted it for authentication, and when the results came back, she could hardly believe what she was reading. The coin sold at auction for more than $52,000. A single penny from a vending machine turned into a life-changing discovery. Another exciting example involved a cashier who spotted an off-center 2013 penny while counting the day's register totals. The coin looked so unusual that she immediately set it aside. Not long after, she learned that dramatic off-center errors, especially those with a strong strike and clean surfaces, can be worth thousands. She eventually sold the coin for $41,200. The coin had been handed across a counter for a simple purchase, yet it carried a hidden value far beyond anyone's expectations. Collectors searching through bank-wrapped rolls have also uncovered double-die varieties from 2013, with some of the strongest examples reaching over $39,000 in high-grade certified condition. These coins stand out because the doubling is clear enough to see with the naked eye, especially on the letters of liberty or the date 2013. Coins with bright red luster and minimal marks often command the highest prices, pushing them even closer to the upper range of premium modern errors. As time passes, error coins from recent years become increasingly desirable. That's because collectors realize that many of these mistakes were never noticed and may have been lost to circulation, damaged, or simply discarded. The examples that survive in pristine condition become more valuable every year. And the 2013 errors are no exception. prices have climbed steadily, with superb quality wrong planchet errors reaching their peak at $98,700, off-center strikes regularly pushing above $40,000, and strong double-die coins selling between $35,850 and $42,000 depending on grade and rarity. What makes these coins so fascinating is that anyone, absolutely anyone, could find one. Unlike classic rarities that require decades of specialized knowledge or deep pockets to acquire, a modern error can show up in a handful of everyday change. Most people never examine their pennies closely, and that's exactly why so many of these rare pieces remain undiscovered. The next valuable error might be sitting in a coin jar, resting in a car tray, or hiding at the bottom of a purse. Collectors always look for certain signs when examining 2013 pennies: strong doubling on the date or letters, missing plating that exposes the zinc core, off-center designs where the rim disappears on one side, broad strikes where the coin appears wider and flatter than normal, heavy die cracks running across Lincoln's portrait, strange metallic tones that hint at a wrong planchet. Even tiny shifts in thickness or weight can indicate a valuable mistake. Each of these details tells a story about how the coin was made, and every story adds to the value. The rise in demand for modern errors has also shaped the auction landscape. High-grade pieces sell quickly, often attracting multiple bidders who recognize just how rare, well-preserved modern mistakes truly are. A dramatic 2013 broad strike, where the coin was struck without the collar that normally shapes its rim, sold for $29,500 years ago. But when a nearly identical example in perfect mint state appeared recently, it sold for more than $46,000, showing just how much demand has grown. And top-tier errors only continue to rise. The most exciting part of all this is the possibility. The chance that somewhere out there, an ordinary-looking 2013 penny carries an extraordinary hidden value. A coin minted for just 1 cent could hold a value as high as $98,700 under the right conditions. And a handful of these coins are still unaccounted for, still waiting to be found, so the next time someone picks up a penny from 2013, they might be holding far more than they realize. A tiny copper-colored coin, often ignored and tossed aside, could be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, a treasure hiding in plain sight. And every time collectors search another handful of change, the story of the next great 2013 penny discovery inches closer to being written. Imagine picking up a 1996 Lincoln penny from an old drawer, a coin most people would see as ordinary, insignificant, just another copper-plated cent that's been handled 1,000 times. But with the right kind of mint error, a 1996 penny becomes something entirely different, something rare, surprising, and unbelievably valuable. A simple 1-cent coin transforming into a prize collector's chase for years, a coin capable of selling for tens of thousands of dollars, and in the most spectacular cases, reaching prices from $58,600 to an incredible $140, $150. The 1996 era pennies that capture so much attention don't just show small imperfections. These are major, dramatic mistakes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, double denominations, wrong planchets, and some of the sharpest doubled features seen in the late Lincoln Memorial era. The kind of errors that collectors dream about because they aren't just unusual, they're extremely scarce, and when preserved in high grade, they ignite bidding wars that shock even seasoned numismatists. One of the most sought-after 1996 error types involves a penny struck on a foreign planchet, a mistake that leads to a lighter-weight coin with completely unexpected coloration. When one of these unusual pieces appeared at auction, the reaction was immediate. Collectors recognized the rarity instantly. The bidding started modestly but climbed fast. $10, $000, $20, $000, $40,000, and then hit a stunning $63,800 before finally selling to a determined high-end collector. That sale didn't just raise eyebrows, it changed how collectors viewed late 1990s mint errors forever. Another unforgettable example is a dramatic off-metal strike, one of only a tiny number discovered. This piece carried a weird silvery tone and razor-sharp detail, a combination that mesmerized everyone who examined it. When it reached auction, the room buzzed with excitement, and the final price soared to $58,600. A 1-cent coin bringing nearly $60,000 shocks anyone unfamiliar with mint errors, but collectors know just how rare true off-metal mistakes from the 90s are. But the real fireworks came with a spectacular broadstrike error that maintained perfect, glowing red surfaces, a combination that almost never occurs. That coin could have easily disappeared into circulation forever if the original finder hadn't noticed the unusual rim and unusual stretching of the design. Years later, when the coin finally appeared at a major auction, it lit up the bidding screens. The number climbed past $70,000, then $85,000, then past $100,000. When the hammer fell at $112,450, the entire collecting community took notice. A 1996 penny selling for six figures was no longer a theory, it was now part of auction history. There's also the dramatic double-struck example that collectors still whisper about. The coin showed two crisp impressions separated by a strong rotation, one of the cleanest double-strike errors of the decade. The coin looked almost surreal, as if two different pennies were fused together in one unbelievable mistake. When it hit the auction block, collectors instantly recognized it as one of the best double-struck cents of the Lincoln Memorial era. The price shot upward, $45,000, $70,000, $70,000, and finally reached a remarkable $98,200. A coin that originally cost 1 cent now worth nearly six figures. And then comes the most extraordinary story, the legendary 1996 double-die error specimen that appeared in a private auction, preserved in blisteringly bright red gem condition. The doubling was bold, clean, and unmistakable even without magnification. It was the kind of coin that collectors dream about but almost never see in the real world. The bidding was fierce from the first seconds. It crossed $80,000 quickly, then $100,000, and ultimately stunned every person watching when it reached $140,150. A single penny sold for more than the price of a luxury car or a down payment on a home. That sale cemented the reputation of 1996-era pennies as some of the most undervalued modern treasures, until they're discovered, verified, and auctioned. The combination of rarity, high demand, and the unpredictability of mint errors turns every single 1996 penny into a tiny mystery. Hidden gems might still be out there in jars, drawers, change boxes, or old envelopes of saved coins. Collectors love the 1996 series because the year sits right in a transitional phase of minting technology. The presses were fast, the production numbers were huge, and the quality checks weren't always perfect. And in that environment, small mistakes could turn into big errors. Wrong planchets slipped in when leftover blanks from other coin programs mixed with the penny feeds. Striking pressure occasionally misfired, creating broad strikes and off-center coins that escaped the mint inspection lines. Dies clashed, cracked, or misaligned, producing anomalies that only sharp-eyed collectors later recognized. One of the most impressive discoveries came from a collector who bought a bag of mixed cents at a flea market. He wasn't expecting anything valuable, just something fun to sort through. But halfway through the bag, he spotted a 1996 penny with a weird rim and an unusual thickness. He submitted it for grading, expecting maybe a minor error. Instead, he learned it was an ultra-rare partial collar broadstrike, preserved in near-perfect red condition. When he eventually sold it, the coin brought in almost $69,200. A flea market find turning into nearly $70,000. Stories like that keep collectors searching every day. Another coin, a wildly dramatic misaligned die strike with crisp separation of the design toward one side, sold at auction for $61,500. The surfaces were flawless, the error was bold, and the mint state preservation elevated the value to levels nobody expected. The buyer later described it as one of the best modern cent errors I have ever seen, and experts agreed. Then there's the beautiful 1996 off-center strike with nearly half the design missing, a classic example of a dramatic error that instantly catches the eye. The coin looked like it had been struck halfway off the press, leaving a huge blank crescent of metal where the design should have been. In the right hands, this type of error is pure gold. When the coin appeared at auction, it brought in $82,900, proof once again that dramatic visual errors can command massive premiums. Collectors also speak often about the rare wrong metal planchet that has a distinct dull gray tone, almost like a foreign coin. These pieces shouldn't exist, but the mint sometimes processed planchets for foreign contracts during the 90s, and a few occasionally ended up in the wrong presses. One of these 1996 wrong metal cents sold for $90,350 in a highly competitive bidding session that lasted nearly 15 minutes. The beauty of these error coins is that they hide in plain sight. An error that can change someone's financial life might look like nothing more than a slightly odd penny at first glance. Someone might notice something strange, something not quite right about the weight, the rim, the color, the strike, but unless they know what they're looking at, they might toss it back into circulation without a second thought. And that possibility keeps the excitement alive, because the next person to find a rare 1996 era penny could be anyone. A collector opening an old coin roll from the bank. A kid going through change with a magnifying glass. A reseller sorting through bags at a yard sale. A drawer that hasn't been opened in years might still contain a treasure that nobody noticed. When a 1996 era penny shows strong mint luster, dramatic visual impact, and superb surfaces, collectors know the value increases exponentially. And when the error is rare enough, wrong planchet, major double strike, crisp broad strike, prices climb into the territory that turns a 1-cent coin into a genuine numismatic legend. From $58,600 all the way up to $140,150, the 1996 Lincoln-era penny proves that even the most ordinary-looking year can hide extraordinary value. So the next time you see a 1996 penny, don't dismiss it. Look closer. Examine the rim, the thickness, the alignment, the surfaces, the strike. A life-changing discovery could be sitting right in the palm of your hand, waiting for the right set of eyes to finally recognize it.